Hello, I'm Eric,
Hi, I'm Sydney.
and this is Hallmark Mysteries.
And more.
Well, hello, John. It's a pleasure to have you here. I was not expecting to talk to you again so quickly after last time, but some things happened.
Things happened.
Things
That's
happened.
that's the nature of life. Things happen.
Yes, it is. So I think probably we're going to talk about Mystery 101. Okay, so it's not happening. It's collecting dust. Can you now help people with their recovery, help people sleep at night, help people feel a little bit better? And can
Sure.
you sort of tell us a little bit, we don't have to go page by page. If you want to, I have time. But can we just sort of take people through a little bit about what that episode 8 would have happened? A little explanation of Amy, we were left Amy looking at her dead fiance with Travis looking on. We talked before, it wasn't meant to end the series on that cliffhanger, but it did. So can you
Right.
help people just a little bit with what episode 8 would have been?
Sure. Yeah. So I do want to say before that I think that a big part of the pain that people feel is their desire for a tidy ending, and of course this Mystery 101 pales in comparison to the fan reaction to The Sopranos, which to me, one of my big writing mentors is David Milch, and he said, I don't understand why people were so upset about that. That was the exact ending that the show had prepared us for, right? This is a show about where things constantly end abruptly and suddenly, and where also, like, there's a huge measure of absurdity in the show, and the show is really engaging in like the absurdity of life and dreams and all this stuff. So anyway, that was the ending that they got to choose, and it still infuriated people. And what they're infuriated by is the suddenness of it, right? And the untidiness of it. And so I do think that part of what is people are really grappling with now, and Mystery 101 fans, I mean, is the that if episode 7, if Deadly History had ended with Travis and Amy saying I love you and fade to black, and then 2 years later it's never coming back, well, that would have been okay with people, right? So I guess I just encouraging people to think about why that would be okay and this isn't okay. And what that says about each of us as a person, that because again, life doesn't always end with a nice fade out and people telling each other that they love each other. So anyway, but that said, I'm not trying to dodge your request. So just to be clear, I never wrote episode 8. I just pitched it. I pitched what I thought would be the idea for it. And so that's all I have to share with you, if that's okay.
That's
Eric.
perfect.
Okay, so we open with that final scene from Deadly History, the one that got everyone so upset. And as Travis looks at Amy and the thunder claps and she looks back at him, and we're on her and she's looking at him, and we hear his voice saying, Amy, Amy. And she wakes up with a start. She's fallen asleep at her desk in her office. It's night. Travis is beside her. She's disoriented. What's going on? What time is it? He says, it's almost 9. I waited for you at the restaurant, and then I tried calling a bunch of times, but you didn't pick up. And she says, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I don't even remember falling asleep. I just had the craziest dream. I was engaged and my fiance was murdered and you were investigating. And Travis says, so it wasn't me who was dead? And she shakes her head and he smiles and he says, good, then I'm not going to worry because you're engaged to me. And they kiss. And then we see the title card, Mystery 101, Killing Dreams. Amy explains the dream in detail that she was engaged to Sam Jameson, who we learn was her real life next door neighbor and her high school sweetheart. And he actually proposed to Amy while they were in college, but she had turned him down. She was worried about his growing intensity, his obsession with her, and they were too young anyway. And honestly, they haven't spoken much since then. And Travis says, well, sounds like your class is getting to you. And then we cut to next day to Amy in class, and she's teaching Agatha Christie's Poirot story, The Dream, about a man who dreams of his own death and then ends up dying. And so as class ends, Graham arrives to tell Amy totally shocking news. He's just heard from Mrs. Jameson that her son Sam is dead and he's been murdered. Then we end up learning more about Sam. Sam was this genius, a genius level person. I mean, like a 160 IQ, but had the first of several nervous breakdowns in college after the breakup with Amy. He's been in and out of hospitals, but has been very successful in the biotech world because he's so brilliant. He lived in Seattle, and Amy's really just distraught about this, and she can't sleep, and she insists that they go look into it. And fortunately, Detective Denny Roma from Dead Talk is the investigating officer in Seattle, so they have a way in. And there are several suspects, and there's a labyrinthine investigation, and honestly, I didn't figure all of that out.
Right.
That's sort of the part where I go, and then we find out who did it, and who did it. The killer turns out to be Sam himself, who staged his death after changing his identity and swapping his genetic signature in the lab. And the victim was an innocent man who matched Sam's height and weight, and he was thrown from a building so that no facial match could be made. Sam had been planning this for months. As soon as he learned that Amy had gotten engaged and had set a wedding date. And what we find out is that Sam has been in the movie all along, in the background, disguised with a beard and glasses and padding as a janitor at Elmstead, giving him access to Amy's coffee machine, her Nespresso machine in her office, which he used to drug her and hypnotize her while drugged, planting doubt about Travis and their impending marriage, and planting the dream scenario, which opens the film. And so once that's all resolved, we would have our final scene of the movie, which of course is Amy and Travis's wedding. So
That's fantastic. Chills. I literally got chills. I love the Agatha Christie nod in there.
Yeah. I mean, I love dreams, and some people sniffed it out on the internet right after it happened. Right after that episode aired, some people were saying, it must be a dream, it must be a dream. And I was like, it must be.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that's a great insight, because I love dreams so much. I mean, I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I'm a huge David Lynch fan. I think dreams are so powerful. They're a way of working out problems that we have, but they can be ways where people can embed things into you, especially if they drug you and hypnotize.
Exactly. I'll say one thing interesting, and then you shared the Agatha Christie quote, which we're going to talk about in a second, is since we last talked, you recommended the ABC Murders, Agatha Christie. I watched that. Fantastic. You've got me. I never was into Agatha Christie for some reason, and I don't know why. I associated her with Murder, She Wrote, and just thought she was, I don't know, sort of corny. But as I'm starting to get more into this Agatha Christie, she's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, not to say everyone shouldn't just watch your movies, but Agatha Christie, that woman knew how to spin a mystery.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, she's the queen. I mean, she is the queen of crime. I mean, for a reason. I mean, she really, I mean, there would be no Mystery 101 without Agatha Christie. I mean, I am a huge devotee, a disciple of Dame Agatha.
So, well, I greatly appreciate you sharing that. I think once again, a lot of people were making their own speculations. They wanted to, think happy thoughts. You had hinted that you promised it wouldn't be bad what happened in the future of Travis and Amy. I think that's absolutely fantastic. All right, well, John, thank you so much for agreeing to be on here. Thank you so much for sharing. Like I said, when I can see how you sell your scripts, by the way, because just the way you tell it, I was just tingling listening to you talk about it. So I'm sure that's part of, when we're going, being a little less romantic, but when you're selling, a script and trying to get it produced, I'm sure that comes into play too, not just, reading it,
Well,
but
it's
being
your
able to, get someone
Yeah,
excited
I
listening
mean,
to you
you have
talk
to
about it.
have the good skills, storytelling skills. I was fortunate, I used to be an actor in the theater, and obviously that's a big part of it.
Right.
But really, fundamentally, it's your passion. Like, right? I mean, I think the reason there's so much compassion for Mystery 101 is because there's so much passion that went into the creating of it, not just from me, but from everybody involved. And and that carries over into this vast audience, starting with you, Eric. And yeah, thank you, man. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for having me on again and letting me open up about all this stuff. And
Well, good luck. Like I say, not a ounce of me does not think Mystery Island won't be crazy successful. The story, that whole plot sounds fascinating. I am very curious, I will say, as we end, and I think it's just because the recency, but people with their comments saying, I don't want to see Chris in another mystery. He's only Travis. I think with time,
yeah,
they will move on.
that's
They will
again,
accept. He's an
that's
actor, right?
understandable. And that just shows how much they love Chris and how much they love the character of
Right.
Travis, really. But yeah, Chris is incredible. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. And it's fine that people say that. And this character that he's playing in this new thing we're working on, it's so different. It's so structurally different. Even tonally, it's really, really tonally different.
Like I said,
Yeah,
I think,
hopefully they'll come around.
yeah,
And,
a little bit of time, because
yeah.
yes, the things, as you know, I joke about my Windy City mysteries all the time.
Yes, I
And
love
people
that.
are like, no, Chris can't be with Kate.
Anybody other than Amy.
He can only be with Amy.
Yeah.
That's the only person he can ever be with. And it's like, wait until you see him with somebody else and he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh, wait,
Yeah.
but you know what? That's entertainment, right?
It's
All
cool.
right.
All good.
All right. Thanks,
Eric.
John. Have a great day.
You too.